earlier today, we were talking about John Tavares.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about whether or not he was staying in New York. Bam, we got Chris
Timmy,
Botta.
you're the man.
No,
you know the power you have
it's
here.
the people behind the scenes who get it done
of
for
course,
me.
Of course,
So joining us from New York is Chris Botta, longtime. He worked at the New York Times. He worked with the New York Islanders. Now working with Sportsnet York. Joins us now. Chris, thank you for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
Same here. How are you, Tim and Evanka? How are you guys?
Very good, very good. I got to ask you, because I was going off on this tangent about Marc Bergevin and how he saves his job in Montreal. He got to have a plan. And I say the only way he saves his job is John Tavares. So I need you to answer me. Do you think there's a chance that John Tavares leaves the Islanders?
Oh, I think there's a chance he leaves the Islanders. I wouldn't. I know Mark. He played for the Islanders when I was with the team, and I'm rooting for him, and I think he deserves to stick around a little longer. Garth Snow's been at it 12 years in New York, so I'd give Mark a little more time. But do I think John Tavares is going to Montreal? I do not. I think right now I'd put it at like a 51% chance he stays with the New York Islanders and a 49% chance he goes somewhere else. He's definitely going to go to the listening period before July 1, and I think he'll take a little time with his decision. He'll hear what everyone has to say. I'm sure he'll hear what Berger has to say, but I wouldn't be super optimistic about him going to the Canadiens.
In the same vein as Timmy's question, does Garth Snow need him to stay with the Islanders in order to keep his job?
Personally, I don't even think it should come to that. Garth has had over 260 days to re-sign John Tavares. Garth has had almost 12 years to make the Islanders a decent team. He is not. They've made the playoffs 4 years in his 12 with the club. They've not made it now 2 years in a row if you count this year, and it doesn't look very good right now. If I was running the Islanders, and that will never happen, guys, but if I was, he would be removed immediately, and I would be bringing in the new GM, whether it's somebody internally, like a Lamoriello, Chris Lamoriello, I should say, or Claude Loisel, or if they're going to go outside and let the new people make their attempt to re-sign John. If John comes back to the Islanders, and I still believe, and perhaps that's a little bit of the fan in me, I'll admit to that, Evanka. If he comes back, it's not going to be because Garth Snow is the GM. So I don't think Garth should make it to July 1. Frankly, I don't think he should make it to April 1, but no word yet from the Islanders' pretty new owners on that decision.
Right. The one thing I like about John Tavares is we've had some real conversations with him on this show. Like, he is honest, maybe even to a fault, but yet still remarkably classy and would never throw the organization or Garth Snow under the bus. He's just going to make his decision, and he will stick by that decision. And it seems to me like all of this bouncing of the arena, he was really honest about how much that bugged him when he was on this show. I just wonder, does he feel like there is some sort of loyalty that he needs to help take this team out of whatever hole Garth Snow, bad previous ownership, has put them in?
Tim, it's funny you say that. I know there's been a school of thought the last couple of weeks that there's a part of Tavares that because the Islanders are now missing the playoffs again this year, that he has unfinished business, and that might even drive him to want to stay more. Now, I don't know if I believe in that theory, but what I will say is that you're definitely onto something, Tim. The Islanders are lucky that this is John Tavares, who they got first overall in 2009. There is no question in my mind, and with no disrespect to any other player in this league, Tim, but I think just about anybody else would have looked to have maneuvered, had their agent, Pat Brisson, work out something in February where the Islanders got something in a trade and John Tavares didn't look back. But from the moment the Islanders won the draft lottery in 2009, he committed. He actually, I spoke to him on the phone. I was just doing a little blog thing, and he said, look, I want people to understand, if the Islanders pick me first overall, I'm coming. And then a few years later, a year before he had to, he signed a long-term contract during his early entry stage, and he committed at a lower value and to more years than he had to. So this is somebody who loyalty means something, and it's that plus the fact that he is very comfortable in New York that I put it at 51%. Doesn't mean he's not going to listen to Montreal, the Rangers, the New Jersey Devils. I would watch out for them. San Jose Sharks, a few other teams. Some teams like Tampa are now out of the mix. There's no room left. But I think he'll listen. But that's why it all comes down to me thinking the Islanders have reason to believe that he might stay. This is a very uniquely loyal, and most importantly to me, and I would hope everyone else, he's a sincere guy. He's earned the right to make this decision on his terms.
Yeah.
Chris, what do you think his next contract looks like?
I think it depends. If he's going to go to a Montreal, like that number is going to be the max number, in my opinion. If it's the Islanders, but okay, to answer your question, Evanka, I think I'm going to give you a big range here. It's going to be between $9 and $12 million a year for the 7 years that the other teams can sign him for, or the 8 years that the Islanders can, or I know there's some talk about a sign and trade. I know the Islanders are used to making unique history. We had somebody buy the team who wound up not to have any money. But I don't know if the Islanders are going to be that first team to make that sign and trade. And could they possibly get fair value back? So I think it's between 9 and 12 a year for that range. I know that's not narrowing it down much for you. And I think for the Islanders and some other teams, like he wants to go where he will be happy, would be my guess. I'm not speaking for him. I haven't talked to John Tavares in years. Pat Brisson has politely declined to return my questions asked from in an email, and I totally appreciate that. But I think that number kind of ranges between where it goes. Now, the one thing that John has to ask himself, if he goes to a team for $12 million, are they then going to be so tapped out that they're not much better than the Islanders are now? So he's going to have to, that's something he's going to have to factor. That's why I'm giving you a big number there, Evanka.
Yeah, I agree. It depends completely on who he signs with. Exactly the kind of info that we were looking for, Chris. Really appreciate the time. Let's do it again soon.
Thanks a lot, Tim. Thanks, Evanka. Take care, guys.
There is Chris Botta, Sportsnet, New York.